All right, hi everybody. Send me a quick message to let me know you're here. Hi, Jean, I'm glad you made it. Lee, good to see you. And Matt, we're all here. Okay, today's lesson, we're going to identify the parts of the food label and calculate calories based on the macronutrient content. Okay, so when we look at a food label, the first thing that we want to do is look at the servings. Okay, so we want to look at the serving size and we want to multiply that by the amount that we consume. Okay, so if someone were to eat this whole container of food, how many calories would be in the whole thing? Okay, go ahead and type in your answer. Awesome. Okay, looks like everyone gets it. If we ate this whole package, we'd get the whole 500 calories from this product. And the next thing we usually look at are the calories. And calories are just the amount of energy that we get from a food. If we don't burn that energy, we put it on as fat, and if we are exercising, then we're going to burn it off. Okay. Our food label also gives us the calories from fat, and that's going to be right here at the top. Okay. Next thing on the label is the total amount of fat. So how fat laden is the item? Our goal is to get no more than 30% of our total calories per day from fat. And we get 9 calories in every gram of fat that we consume. So typically we think of fat as being something bad, and it's not that fat is bad, it's just that it's a more concentrated source of energy. So if I'm consuming 1 gram of fat versus 1 gram of carbohydrate, it takes me more than twice the amount of time to burn off that gram of fat as it would to burn off that 1 gram of carbohydrate. The bad fats that we really want to avoid are the saturated fats and the trans fats. And so those are also listed as a subgrouping under total fat on the food label. It's also going to tell us unsaturated, polyunsaturated, and monounsaturated fats on there. Okay, so take a quick look. Who can tell me how many total grams of fat are in this product?
24.
Okay, so 24 if we consume the whole thing, and 12 if we only had the 1 serving. Good job. These numbers highlighted in purple are the daily values, and that they're given to us in a percentage. Our goal is to get 100% of those daily values, and it's just a guide so that you don't have to do the math every time that you eat a certain food. So these are based on a 2,000 calorie diet, so that's an average diet for most people, kind of more on the active female side and inactive male side, but a pretty good average. And it's good to use the 5-20 rule. So we want to choose foods that contain 5% of the daily value of fat, sodium, and cholesterol. So 5% or less, but 20% of the daily value of the vitamins, minerals, and fiber listed. Okay, so take a look at this food label. Go ahead and type in, would you say this meets the 5-20 rule or it does not meet the 5-20 rule? All right, so it looks like everyone's agreeing that it does not. So if we look at our fat, let's not use that one. We look at our fat, we look at our cholesterol, and we look at our sodium. We see that those are all above the 5%. And if we go down and look at our fiber, we're at 0%, and the only one of our vitamins or minerals that are above the 20 or at the 20% is the calcium, so that would not meet the 5-20 rule. Our goal for cholesterol is to get no more than 300 milligrams per day. Okay, so if we look at this one, we could eat 10 servings of this food in order to get our maximum 300 milligrams. And that's going to be for the average person. So if you had a history of heart disease or high cholesterol in your family, that's something that you would want to consume less of. Does anyone know, do you have a history of high cholesterol in your family? Heart disease?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's pretty common in the US. So a lot of people do try to reduce those cholesterol numbers. And we do get cholesterol from all animal products. No plant-based products have any cholesterol. Sodium should be limited to no more than 2,300 milligrams per day. Okay, so that's total. If we look at this product, okay, again, let's add up how much sodium is in the whole product. Okay, go ahead and type your answers in. Okay, good job, guys. So that's like a lot of total sodium in this one product. So you really want to keep your eyes on that. If you're eating something that's highly processed, it's usually going to be very high in sodium. And again, if you have a history of high cholesterol, high blood pressure, heart disease in your family, this is a number that you usually want to minimize. Let's move on to carbohydrates. Carbohydrates should make up about half of your daily calories. If you're really active, you probably need a little bit more. But we're going to get 4 calories per gram of carbohydrate. Okay, so if we took a look at this food label and we multiplied our 31 grams of carbohydrate times 4, that contributes to our total calories. We have some different types of carbohydrates in our food. We have simple sugars, which are also called mono and disaccharides. And those are glucose, fructose, which is found in fruit and honey, sucrose, which is table sugar, lactose, which is milk sugar, and maltose and galactose, which aren't typically found alone in food. And then we have complex carbohydrates. So those are going to be our polysaccharides, which are starch and fiber. So if we look at the food label, it breaks those carbohydrates down for us. In order to be considered something that is high in fiber, the food needs to have more than 5 grams of fiber per serving. Okay, so who can tell me, is this food high in fiber?
No.
You're right, it's definitely not high in fiber. We're getting no fiber from this. Does anyone know a food that is high in fiber? Chad, can you tell me a food that's high in fiber?
Spinach.
Spinach would have a good source of fiber. Oatmeal, any types of fruits and vegetables are typically high in fiber. One of the other subgroupings is sugar. So sugar occurs both naturally and is added. So if a food says that there is no sugar added, that does not mean that there is no sugar in the food. It could have sugar substitutes, or it could also have natural sugars found in that product. When you're looking at the ingredient list, anything that ends in OSE is a form of sugar, and anything on this list is also a hidden sugar found in the product. Protein is the last thing in this top section of the food label, and that's going to make up about 20% of your total calories. We get 4 calories per gram of protein. So again, if we took this number, 5 grams, times 4, that gives us about 20 calories that come from protein. Okay, I have a little an equation on here for you. So I want you to quickly convert your pounds into kilograms by dividing your pounds by 2.2, and then multiplying by 0.8, and that's going to give you your total protein needs for the day. Okay, so take a minute to do that. Divide your body weight by 2.2, and then multiply by 0.8, and that gives you your grams of protein. Anyone mind sharing their answer?
41.8.
So that just is a good way to guide your eating so you can make sure that your protein needs are being met. Okay, typically in the US, we are getting 3 to 5 times the amount of protein that we don't live in an area where protein is scarce or where people have trouble getting enough. An example of a portion of protein is a 3-ounce portion of steak is about the size of a deck of cards, and that's giving you about 27 grams of protein. So Leanne, you said you needed about 41. If you had a 3-ounce portion of steak, you're over halfway to your protein needs for the entire day. And if we think about it, most people are eating a lot more than a 3-ounce portion of steak. Any excess protein can be really hard on your kidneys. It's just really hard for the body to process that. Okay, down at the bottom, we have the vitamins and minerals listed. If something is not listed, that means it's not in that food. So this is the area that Americans typically struggle with. We don't usually get 100% of the daily value of vitamins and minerals. In the next few years, you're going to see this new food label pop up. So I just wanted to kind of give you a brief introduction to that. A few of the things that are changing are that this serving size is going to be larger and the calories are also larger. They've updated the daily values. And down at the bottom, the actual amount of vitamins and minerals that are in the product will now be listed. So those are all pretty important things. All right, so time for you to do some math. We said that there are 4 calories per gram of carb, 4 calories per gram of protein, and 9 calories per gram of fat. Okay, so if that were the case, how many calories would this food have? Chad, do you think you could show us how you worked through that problem? So we take 40 times 4, 10 times 4, and 9 times 9, which gives us 281. Very good. If you saw that amount on a food label, they would probably round it and make it 280. All right, let's try another one. Okay, 10 grams of carbs, 5 grams of protein, and 15 grams of fat. Jean, I know you're having trouble with your microphone. Do you think you could type that answer in there for us? So we're taking 10 times 4, 5 times 4, and 15 times 9. What did anyone else get? There we go. Better. All right, last one. This one's a little bit tricky. Okay, so I want you to start out by calculating the total calories and figure out how many of those calories are coming from fat, and then the percentage of calories that come from fat. All right, Chad jumped right down to the bottom and told us that 25% of the calories come from fat, and that is correct. These numbers came from my box of reduced fat wheat thins. So even though they are reduced fat, the calories are still 25% of those calories are still coming from the fat that is in that product. Okay, so 127.5 total calories, 31.5 calories from fat. So those would both be rounded on the food label to probably 125 calories and probably 30 calories from fat. Very good, guys. Way to use your math. All right, so that's the end of our lesson. I do have a scavenger hunt for you to do using a link that I've posted on our page. And so you're going to work in groups and find different foods that have these different items in the food label. So it's a food label scavenger hunt. I have you assigned in groups and can finish that for tomorrow. Thanks.
Thank you.